Okay, so a lot of response for B. Which layer of the wall of the GI tract contains the Meissner's plexus nervous fibers that form the enteric nervous system? And B is correct. So that's going to be the submucosa, which has the submucosal plexus, also known as the Meissner's plexus. Okay. The other division of the enteric nervous system is going to be the muscularis externa that has the Auerbach's plexus or the myenteric plexus. Okay. Let's look at another here. Okay, final second. All right. All right, so a lot of response for D, but quite a few of you chose a which layer of the wall of the GI tract is largely responsible for motility. So we know that there are two layers that have muscle. The thicker muscle that's going to be more important for the movement of the tract itself is going to be the muscularis externa. Okay, that's where we have that thicker layer of smooth muscle with the different orientation of fibers. That's going to be more important for the motility of the entire tract. There is a thinner layer that helps with motility that is in the mucosa. That is more for the motility of the lumen, so just the internal aspect of the tract itself. And so when you think about what's largely responsible for motility, it's definitely going to be the thicker layer, the outer thicker layer of muscle, which is the muscularis externa. All right. Okay, let's look at another here. And please feel free to stop me if you have questions or you want me to expand a little more on any of these questions here. I apologize, guys. My brain is just on overdrive today. I have 50 tabs open. All right, last few seconds. All right, let's see. Okay, so which cells of the gastric pit secrete mucus? A lot of response for A, the neck cells, and that is correct, right? So the neck cells, also called the mucus neck cells, right? These are the ones that secrete mucus. They also secrete bicarbonate-rich fluid that help to coat the lining of the stomach and protect it from the acidity of the stomach chyme, okay? Chief cells we know are going to be secreting pepsinogen. We'll talk more about that coming up. Again, parietal cells we know secrete hydrochloric acid as well as intrinsic factor. And then G cells, we said, excuse me, secrete gastric acid, okay? All right. I think we've got one more. So the answer here was A, neck cells. And remember, the neck cells are going to be found towards the neck of the gastric glands or gastric pits, right? The other cells are kind of interspersed towards the very bottom of that pit. All right, one last question. Or maybe two more, let's see. Yeah, we've got two more. Okay, last 10 seconds. All right. So most nutrients are, most nutrients from the diet are absorbed in a lot of you said B, duodenum, and that is correct. Okay, so overall response for B, duodenum, that is absolutely correct, right? That's where we have all of those juices being released from the pancreas, from the gallbladder, and that's where we see most of the digestion and absorption, right? That's where we start to see absorption, and then we see most of the remaining digestion. And remember, I think on an earlier slide, we said that most of it is absorbed in the first 20%. So that would be the duodenum, a little bit more in the jejunum, but then by the time we get to the ileum, we're seeing very little absorption happening there, right? Most of it is already accomplished. Okay. Last question here. Last 10 seconds. Okay. A lot of response for C. Which of the following is not one of the functions of the liver? And C is removal of aged white blood cells. Yes, that is correct. Anyone want to say why? So this is correct. What is the aspect of this that makes this wrong? Or what could we change about this statement, this option to make it right? Excellent, it's erythrocytes or red blood cells, right? So a lot of response for that here in the chat, awesome. So it doesn't remove aged white blood cells or leukocytes, it only removes erythrocytes. So this could have been an easy distraction if you weren't quite aware of which cells specifically it is involved in. All of the other processes it definitely is involved in, so secretion of bile, elimination of waste in the form of that bilirubin we spoke about, and then definitely metabolic processing of all the nutrients.